two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. What's up, you little biscuits and sun-dried tomatoes? It's your boy, Eddie Collins.
Guys, this is Justin Brown.
And we are taking y'all to beautiful, beautiful Italy. Actually, Brooklyn, New York, where the Italians hang out. Because we doing Moonstruck. 1987 film starring Cher and Nic Cage and a bunch of other good folks, you know.
Danny Aiello.
Yeah. Who else?
Brandon, what is going on? What is that?
No, I just had a mental break just trying to remember this fucking movie. And then my mind just went off into insanity because this movie's fucking crazy.
Oh, this is fucking nuts.
Dude, but this is like revered. This is like won a bunch of Oscars, man. So 1994 or 1988 was a bit of a wild year. Or 87, whatever this came out.
I'm just going to say this right now. On this show, we've said nigga babble.
Mm-hmm.
This is Guido babble. This
babble or battle?
Babble.
Okay, it sounds
this is atrocious. And I could not see anybody talking about this movie like it was like, oh my, like this movie, classic, amazing, unless they were just an Italian person just rolling hard for the people. Because there is no way that this should have been nominated for fucking 6 Academy Awards, winning for Best Actress for Cher,
Best Actress,
supporting actress for Dukakis, and
who played the mother. That's one I could kind of see.
Yeah,
I could kind of see what she
good.
got. Yeah, she had that one scene at the dinner, you know, at the table at the end. I think that got her and the husband the Oscar noms. But for her, I'm like, I see why she got it. Absolutely.
And
but for
also,
everybody else, I was like, I don't know.
I'm just gonna say this, you know, that woman, Olympia Dukakis, she was looking pretty damn good for an older woman in this film. She was. I would have gave her the beats.
You know, also who was looking decent, despite having, what was it, 18-year difference? Cher.
Oh, no, yeah, Cher looked great.
When she had the nightgown scene, I was like, okay. By the way, this movie's freaky as fuck. Everybody's sleeping around each other or like about to cheat. And Cher tells Nic Cage at one point, she said, love me until there's nothing left for him to marry.
Mm-hmm.
She said, fuck me until he can't claim my body because you just fucked and smashed it so good. Your brother can never, ever
take it all. I am yours.
Man, that's wild. They for
take
sure
it all.
Yeah, she's pretty much like, we're gonna make a baby tonight.
But here's the thing. This happens so quickly.
Oh, I mean, this movie.
What?
This movie just hits the gas immediately, and it takes. I mean, is this where that Amore song comes from?
What?
When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, that's Amore. Is that from this movie?
No. What? What?
I don't. This is a music podcast. I don't fucking know music history.
Why would you think that comes from this?
I thought that's what made it popular. You know, like that's why I always hear it when I go to the fucking Olive Garden. Because they're like, oh, Moonstruck, baby.
Moonstruck, baby.
What if this was Ja Rule's favorite movie? Ja, what's your favorite movie? Moonstruck, baby.
That's
Okay,
fucking
so this isn't the movie that introduced Amore. That song I never got either because it's like I don't want pie hitting my face. That doesn't sound like Amore to me.
I mean, like that song was done by like Dean Martin.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like
old
and I gotta look up that song. I gotta see when that song came out, just so I can look at you and be like, "Really, Nick? You thought that this was the song?"
But from that song, it's like it's supposed to tell us like, hey, yo, this movie's gonna be mad Italian.
Yeah. I mean that is 100% what they were going for.
But Lluvia found in her research, even our producer, this is a story about Italian Americans. However, shares of Armenian heritage on her father's side. Olympia Dukakis is of Greek heritage.
Well, obviously.
Theodore Chaplin the Jr. is half Russian and half Italian. You know, I can tell by their accents though that not everybody was authentic Italian American. Hey,
hey.
oh, you deal with you know, there was bad blood between me and my brother, even though we getting married and I don't have a ring. You should go see him. Let him
First
know
of all,
I miss him.
I'm just gonna say this. If you go out and you're trying to propose to your girl and you didn't even you didn't even decide I'm gonna get a ring, you just say, "Will you marry me?" At a table, you don't even get on knees. I'm like, you're doing it all wrong.
Oh yeah.
Paula was getting pissed watching this. She's just like, look at him. He's a mess. Why would she say yes to him? I was like, whoa.
Well, that
I was like, damn, I'm glad I didn't do
I mean,
that
that's why
shit.
no one likes him. That's why the parents don't like him. The dad's like, I don't want to pay for this fucking wedding. I mean, clearly it's because he's also cheap, but it's like,
well, I mean, he needed more money for
but he's
his,
also like, this guy's a fanook. I'm not gonna pay for the fucking the cannolis and shit. Cannolis. That's what I meant to say. I'm gonna say something problematic on this episode. I can feel it.
Yep.
Can you feel the cancellation, Justin? I can feel it in my bones. It must be like when a woman knows that she's pregnant. You're like, oh.
And That's Amore came out in 1953.
Well, that's long before 1987. So that answers that question. Oh, sweet Lord.
Fuck. Oh my god. Yo, yeah, this movie this movie is like it's just really fucking off-putting. Like I didn't get so all right. So obviously for me, I feel like Cher going with what Danny Anello's character is just like at some point she just realized I'm just gonna settle.
Yes.
He's a nice guy.
I'm gonna settle. I'm never gonna get married again because her first husband died abruptly, and she thinks that it's like bad luck.
He got hit by a truck, a bus, or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's just gonna settle for this guy, and then on top of that, it's like she's almost like his mother.
Mm. Very much so. Yeah. His mother that's dying back home.
Yeah, she runs everything. She runs his life. And I feel like so that's why she was selling for him. But then when she meets Nic Cage as his brother, she's immediately just like I think she's into him because he's the chaos of it all. Because she's been trying to play it safe after her husband died so many years ago, and she's accepted the safe option. And now she's, which actually is not the safe option because, he's a little overweight, probably die of a heart attack or something like that. But you're going to go with his, the wild younger brother.
Yeah, with a wooden hand who just does soliloquies in a fucking baker's basement. Just throwing around flour. Everyone looks at him like he's a fucking dictator. He's like, and I come down here and I live my life, and my brother gets to have both his hands. I don't have a hand.
And we just need to talk about the fact that he has beef with his brother because his brother came in and it distracted him from what he was doing to the point that he put his hand in, like, I guess the food processor or whatever.
The bread cutter.
and he
Slicer.
cut it,
Yeah.
and he mangled his fucking hand. He maimed his hand. Like, so you don't like your brother because you're incompetent and you can't and you can't basically concentrate.
Yeah.
You
At least,
can't do like that's ridiculous.
yeah, because if it's like, okay, so both the brothers are kind of absent-minded, always forgetful and shit, right? But is she? Because I was like, is the thing that she's supposed to be drawn to in Nicolas Cage's character is that he is passionate? Because I don't see any reason why this relationship works. They're both fucking crazy. Nic
Yeah.
Cage is unhinged. This movie,
Oh yeah.
like we talk about LL Cool J in the Last Holiday, how
Mhm.
unsettling a love interest he was. Nic Cage ramps that up to 1,000. Like when he's waiting for her at the Met, I'm like, he looks like a vampire waiting for his prey to like accept him. He's gonna take her to the fucking musical and he's gonna fucking bite the shit out of her.
Okay. But you know what? There's a lot of Nicolas Cage slander right now.
No,
I,
no,
I
yes.
hold on.
I still
I,
love the Cage Man.
hold on. I need to say Nicolas Cage looked great in this. I thought he looked because I feel like come the 90s, come the 90s or whatnot, we got like a particular kind of Nicolas Cage. I think in this film, I could see why they were pushing Nicolas Cage to be a huge star. Because I thought, like, especially when they went to the opera or whatever, I thought like he looked very good in this film. Even as he was like,
Yeah.
weird guy in the fucking basement, throwing bread in the oven. It's just like there was a look to him. I was just like, okay, I understand why this guy is star power.
Okay, I can see that, especially in like the late 80s, for sure. I can see
Yeah.
how that came together. Because according to UVA's research, Nicolas Cage's screen test did not impress the studio. They wanted to go with someone else to play Ronnie, particularly Peter Gallagher. But Cher insisted that Cage was the only one to play the role and threatened to quit unless he was hired. A few days, the studio relented. So she really pushed for this, and she probably pushed for him to be highlighted, like as this young up and coming dude. This it was weird they never really addressed the age difference though.
Mm.
Or is he just supposed to appear older than he is? Because she said she's 38 in this movie.
So she's 38 in this movie. How old is he supposed to be?
Exactly. I'm not quite sure, but like I said earlier, she was 18 years older than him in this movie. And then Danny Aiello and Nicolas Cage are 31 years apart. So it's kind of like, what's the math supposed to be here?
Well, no, she could be settling for an old. She's 18 years older than him. Well, all right. It's like she's going with an older man, right?
Yes.
We got to cross out the real life, but she's going for an older man. He has a younger brother who's significantly younger than him. I mean, I have a sibling that's 30 years older than me.
Yeah, but kind of to your point though, right? And this is where the ending got real wild for me, which is you supposedly have this beef with your brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
For however many years, because you lost your hand.
5 years. 5 years.
5 years. You lost your hand, now you got a wooden hand.
One for every finger.
Now you're Pinocchio, right? You have Pinocchio. And his beautiful wife to be, bursts in, and you just have this chemistry. You feel the vibes, and you're like, there's no way that the real ulterior motive to this was I'm just gonna fuck the shit out of my brother that I hates wife to be and probably cuck him, and that's gonna be my sweet revenge. Like I was just waiting for Nicolas Cage at one point to be like, and that's how you do revenge. And it's just leave the house.
He goes like this, and his hand falls off. God damn it! No,
After she like accepts to marry him and shit. But I mean, mind you, him marrying, okay, by the logic of Danny Aiello's character, right? Who's like, hey, I actually can't marry you because mom's getting better. That's the whole thing of the third act. He's like, mom's actually doing better. I'm afraid if I marry you, she'll die. By that logic, if Nic Cage marries her because they are family, won't she still die?
no, it's like I think it's like so she felt like she was cursed,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the curse, probably the curse is between them. It doesn't necessarily transfer. It doesn't necessarily transfer because also it's not about Nicolas Cage. It's about him.
Yeah.
And also it seems to me like he it's either he didn't necessarily want to get married,
Yes, I definitely got that.
or it was just like he's such a mama's boy that he was just like, this is a bad omen. It's
Mm,
it's either of those two things.
okay, that makes sense. That's fair.
But either way, it's just like him, like that's just his excuse.
Mhm.
That's nothing but his excuse.
Nothing but excuses when you don't want to marry Cher. I guess he doesn't believe in love after love. Um,
Life after love.
God damn it. God fucking damn it, Brandon.
I can feel something inside me saying, I really don't think you're strong enough. Oh.
I remember early mornings in middle school eating my cereal, watching that music video, and being like 11 years old, like, I don't know if Cher is hot or not. And just like eating my cereal, like looking closer and closer into the TV, like, is she? And before I can make a decision, fucking Corn freaking Alicia would come on and be like, "Nyum, nyum, 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 nyum." And you're like, all right, this is gonna be a wild Tuesday. Like, this puts me in a weird mood, man.
I will say though, like and I think I texted you about this. Like, I never really got the appeal of Cher,
Same.
and then I saw her in this movie. I was just like, okay, Cher is a little baddie.
Yeah, but then you think about those performances where she doesn't really wear anything, you know, and like she got no ass, and
Yeah,
like
but I mean, this is a different time frame.
this is true. This is true. Yes.
This is what I think she came up in like the 70s.
I don't know. Just think about, yeah, it had to be 70s with fucking Sonny and that fucking
Oh no.
mustache he had.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like this, so like the 70s and whatnot. So like I think that, but Cher, she was, I mean, she's had a bunch of work done.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lluvia was like, she looks good now too. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, so does everybody else who's had that kind of work.
Yeah,
But
with
like she like
Ozempic or whatever the fuck. Also,
oh,
she's getting plotted
Zempic.
by a young black man. So I think
What's that?
she's getting plotted out by a young black dude,
Listen, he's
like
just
her
trying to
fiance.
he's trying to get into her inheritance. Well, I mean,
I mean,
her
maybe,
fortune.
yeah, or maybe he saw Moonstruck and was like, I'm a fuck. I don't
I
know.
mean, how old is Cher right now? She has to be like 80, right? Or 70 something.
She's probably
77.
yeah, 77. Hey, you know,
Listen, I'd I would have hit Cher back in the day. I can see it.
back in the day, yeah, for sure. I think, yeah. Because I'm looking at a picture of her from 2019. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll take back what I said. Maybe she just going through a thin phase. Like, when Whitney did the Michael Jackson concert, she was just way too skinny. But she can get it back. People can get it back. Anyways, so Moonstruck, this also is about the family of the different generations in this family, and Cher's family, kind of trying to find. Well, no, it's about men chasing women and how men can't be faithful for whatever reason. Because you got her father Cosmo cheating on the mom, and then you have the mom sort of exploring some kind of flirtation with the dad from Frasier.
Yeah.
Briefly, like everyone's looking for love.
She wants to see his tossed salad and scrambled eggs all over her chest.
Oh god! And then of course you have Cher hooking up with Nic Cage. So everyone's just making mistakes in this family. Everyone's just
Well, no, the mom didn't.
She still did a little kiss on the cheek.
No, yeah, but that's not.
Kiss on the cheek is something, man.
No, that's extremely innocent.
Kiss on the cheek just leads to more meat.
No. See, now I thought that when she went to kiss him on the cheek, that she was gonna do the old turn his head and catch it on the lips.
Oh, okay.
I for a second I was like, oh, he's gonna go for it, but I was about to say, like, she actually was very classy in the way she handled that whole situation.
She was classy, a classy lady.
And like I said, Olympia, I know you're no longer with us, but
man,
if
you really
you
had
were
a crush
here,
on her
I
mom.
give it to you, Huh?
You really had a crush on the mom.
The mom was hot.
Was that before this movie or after this movie? Like you already
No,
had like a
no,
thing for the
no,
actress.
like no. In this movie, like I can just look at, like I can just see it's like, oh, that was a very pretty older woman. You don't think? I'm gonna have to
Why are
look
you
at
yelling at me?
no, because no, because you're coming after me, man. You're coming
I'm
at
not
me.
coming after you. I'm just very impressed. Like it's different. It's a different vibe for you today. That's all.
I like some older women in my day.
Yuvi in the chat did write the kiss on the cheek could also be the Italian custom for a goodbye. Now, are we speculating that that's an Italian custom, or are we just like, do we know for sure? Because I almost speculate, that's like me thinking like, you do what do the French people do? Something with it.
The kiss on the double kiss on the cheek.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't.
What do they do, Brandon?
They do the, you gotta fucking shuffle your fucking hand like you're a fucking turkey. It's annoying.
Okay.
Stop staring at me.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
I
sound effects are all off.
What sound effects?
No, the sound effects that you make.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm not Eddie Winslow.
What?
Carl Winslow. Wait, who's the
what?
Who's the nigga that does the sounds?
Police Academy. What? What?
What's the guy's name?
Brandon? You just named two fucking characters from fucking Steve Urkel Family Matters. And you what?
I thought the guy from Police Academy that the voices was called, his name was Eddie Winslow. I guess it is not by the way you maniacally laughed.
Wow. Wow.
What's his name?
I don't know what the man's name is because I can't think of anything. Hold on. Let's look up Police Academy. Also, I was
my notes hurt my toes.
Actually, the guy's name was Michael Winslow.
Oh, okay. See, I was
yeah. But you said Winslow, Carl Winslow.
Yeah, I was close. I would have got to Michael eventually.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wrote down. I'm looking at my notes right now. What the fuck? It looks like a giant snowball. Who said that?
It's like a giant snowball.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I wrote down she's dying, but I can still hear her mouth. Oh, that's when Cher talked about the mother-in-law in the background when dude called from Italy. She's like, she's dying, but I can still hear her run in her mouth. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Which also it kind of leads you to think this is like she didn't really get along with with his mother. So like that's why he didn't want to marry her because like the mother wouldn't approve.
Yeah, it sounded like both of their parents like weren't approving of the other partner, but it also sounded like they never met each other. Like when he comes over to the house and stuff, it's like the first time that they're meeting, even though the dad's aware of him, but that's probably because he's an older guy.
Yeah.
Or the dad's name is Cosmo, by the way.
Yes. I knew a guy named Cosmo in college.
Really?
Yep.
Was he okay?
No, he was a nice guy.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with him. I mean, it is a weird name though.
It is a very weird name. Yeah. I wouldn't trust a nigga named Cosmo.
At one point, Paula said for a baby, she was like, Cosmo. I looked at her and said, Paula, the fuck out of here. Cosmo Brown.
Oh, man. that nigga's going to get, he could never have black friends.
Oh,
no. What you want to go? It's galactic, nigga?
Yo, that nigga better know how to fight. He better know how to fight.
Oh, we don't make fun of Cosmo Brown. He once fought the whole 5th grade. That's actually pretty funny, though. Well, there's a kid that was like, you're just like, I'm not taking any shit. And so all the kids at school are just like, we're eventually going to beat you up. He's like, bring it.
Bring it.
Whooping ass.
Them all.
Just whooping ass in the whole grade.
Just you? or all at once. Like what?
All right. So, can we talk about the opera scene when Nic Cage is just like at the fountain? He just looks at her like, "You're beautiful." Hey, everything. I was like, did he steal Gary Busey's essence, or was it the other way around? Like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? That was a wild dude. That's a weird ass performance, man. I've never seen this movie before. Like, I'm seeing too many Nicolas Cage movies that are making me start to be like, he's dropping off at the top 10 real quick, the best actors. This is fucking that
But
monologue at the
good.
bakery was crazy, dude.
Yes.
He's
The
got a
fact that
hand.
people
I don't got a hand. She's got a fiance. I don't have a fiance. She left me. I got no hands. She like,
but
dude,
you know
calm
what?
down.
I think was even more crazy is the fact that people stood around to listen to it.
Oh yeah, one of the girls was crying, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like, what is the tone of this? Is this supposed to be funny, or is this supposed to be taken seriously, like, or a little bit of both? Because it's not hitting on either
Well,
three
this is
options.
technically a romantic comedy drama.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
There can't be romantic dramedies. That's a lot.
Yeah. This is a mess. Is what it is. It's a mess.
But it won Oscars. I'm so confused. This is a different time, though. It's
Again,
1987.
a
I was
best
1 years
original
old.
screenplay, Brandon.
I know. In a way, for me, it was kind of like I could kind of see that. I can see on paper this actually like hitting a lot stronger than the way that it was filmed for me. I can see if I'm reading the script, I can actually I'll probably enjoy it a little bit more. Like if I can erase most of these performances from my head, I think that I could see, and I think that I will say, I think the scene with the family at the end, the breakfast table,
Mm.
I do think that's a really well written scene. I think it's in a completely
Yes.
different movie. I think it's actually beautifully acted. I think it's well written. I think it works that Nic Cage has very little lines in that scene. But it was interesting seeing all these generations in this family and kind of pushing each other to fess up to their bullshit.
Mm.
Right. I did think that was interesting, and the way that they played it, especially the parents, I was like, okay, like when she's like, stop seeing her, and he just slams the table, and he's like,
All right.
okay. I'm like, okay. I was like, now, like, if I don't think we need to work so hard to get here. I think that the movie did too much to get here, but this is a good scene. I was like, I'm willing to like give that for sure.
Yeah.
We watched some terrible movies, but there's, I will say this scene was close enough to redeeming it for me. There's other things that made it fall apart at the end, but you can't always love.
So my real question, like, where is this as far as like Nicolas Cage's like acting career? Like, how far into like so he was in what? He was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I think he had a cameo in it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not
So he has
even a
small role.
cameo. It's like a very small role. Remember, he didn't start blowing up to around this time in the late
No,
80s.
so his first starring role came opposite Deborah Foreman in romantic comedy Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was starting to do stuff in the business, after this. Yeah, this is wild, man. I'm just because I was just like, where was he in his career when he did this film?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, he was just about to do Vampire's Kiss, which I believe was a little bit of a hit. And then he won an Oscar 4 years later for not Honeymoon in Vegas. Actually, that's even further down, 1995. I don't know. I'm looking at the list. It was kind of like it was a weird time. Like none of these movies really stand out for me except for Garden Test. But I don't know if Garden Test was actually a hit in 1994. If my not, I just watched it way too many times. I remember watching that movie a lot as a kid. Same with It Could Happen to You, which is also just on Netflix right now. So I don't know. Like he didn't start getting into the action stuff until after he won the Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas. That's when he got The Rock, Con Air, like Face Off, all these things back to back to back.
yeah.
He's had a wild filmography for sure. This is like a very interesting. This probably helped him get a lot of work and get taken seriously by maybe tours and shit like that. So he was able to do a little bit more dramatic work outside of Racing Arizona. To be fair, yeah, Raising Arizona, this came out the same year. Oh, he had a hell of a 87. He had a
Oh,
big 87 then.
okay, yeah. So yeah, a big
Right
87.
after Peggy Sue got married. Oh, that's okay. Now this is making sense
Yeah,
a little bit.
right.
Okay, yeah, because basically his team is actually pretty smart about this then, because essentially it sounds like his management team put him in a position where the he could be the guy that really stands out amongst a cast that's like a bunch of really good actors at the time,
Hmm.
and have his like shining moment, and that's enough to get him to the next thing.
Well, I
And
mean,
he
he
was leaving
did
good
go.
enough impressions, I think, to be able to get to where he got into the 90s.
So he,
Because I didn't know Raising Arizona and Peggy Sue came before this. I thought that was after. So
so
yeah,
here. So reading a thing on this. So Roger Ebert said that he felt that Cage's performance was Oscar worthy. So like
yeah.
it was a hit because this was a hit with critics and audiences loved it. And Cage he got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. And then Roger Ebert was like he should have got an Oscar for this. But then he went into a slump. He went to a career slump from 87 to 94. So, I
Yeah.
guess it was just, bad projects or, whatever was coming across the table at the time. And then then he started doing the action stuff, which revitalized career was Kiss of Death. So this is just like a wild time, for Nicolas Cage, but
Yeah.
this is probably the thing that kept him
In
above
the
water.
conversation, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
For
kept him
sure.
above water because if he started to slump after this, this was probably a really good thing for him at this point.
Yeah. And it's curious because, this is a very interesting. I'm trying to, I guess I would have to be more familiar with the movies that came out in 1987 to kind of get an idea of the vibe that year for
Yeah.
this to have been, so recognized in like award season. And mind you, that's back when like things were pretty limited. Like it was wasn't the access. It didn't have the high level of accessibility like that movies do have these days. So
Yeah.
that means people, if they wanted to see this movie, they like purposely went out to like see a screening of this movie and vote for it and shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but at
Yeah,
the same time, this, again, to his team, this movie had Cher in it. So it was going to get the
yeah,
eyes.
true. True. What did Cher fully become an actress though, or she just always been multi hyphenate?
I'm not sure
I
actually.
wonder if the Sonny and Cher show like they had sketches and stuff. Probably, I imagine it wasn't just them singing and shit.
Well, yeah, because typically, when they did those kinds of shows, it was more like a variety show.
Yeah.
Because again, we're talking like the 70s and all of that. So
I got you, babe. Can we talk about how Nic Cage did not seem to give a fuck that the mom was on her deathbed?
yeah, yeah.
Because at first, at one point, I'm like, oh, they have different moms. That's why he's not in Italy. That's why he's not reacting at all to his brother not being there to ask him himself.
Mm.
And then he's like, why don't you ever talk to mom? And it's like, what? So he has beef with the mom too? Because that's a different. Because if this
Yeah.
dude has beef with everybody in the family, you might need to ask, like, who's the problem?
Well, I mean, you got to start looking at this dude and be like, yo, why? Yeah. Why are you like the black sheep of your family?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that she does not care.
I would think of a different way to ask that a question about being alienated from family, because some people that they're made the black sheep, not like through any fault of their
Yeah,
own.
but if you look at that also in conjunction with his behavior, it's like you gotta look at him like, oh yeah,
yeah.
And as you saying earlier, it was the Sonny and Cher comedy hour.
Oh, okay.
That's what started, and then they had 6 episodes. They eventually got their own show later on. So yeah,
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, because that technically counts as acting, and most people would say comedy is harder than drama. So, but I mean, this is a romantic comedy, and that's the thing is like, that's kind of what's frustrating about watching this movie. I think I will say, with my critical eye now, I definitely am harder on this than I probably would have been a few years ago. It's just that when it comes to romantic comedies and stories like this, it can never start. Like I feel like it can star a person of color or have a cast that's primarily people of color, and it could be the exact same fucking movie at the exact same time, and would not have gotten this kind of recognition. You know what I mean? And that's just frustrating for me because I was thinking about, oh, like, well, it's like a really good like romantic comedy thing that like was really charming, and that I really really enjoyed. That I felt like could have been awards caliber.
Hmm.
And for me, like a movie that came up in recent memory was The Photograph with like
Yeah.
Keith Stanfield, Issa Rae. I just thought it was a really beautiful movie, and probably could have even gotten like a screenplay nom or something. Nothing. It's like that's just, it gets frustrating. I'm not saying like that movie particularly deserved to get an Oscar nom, and I get
Yeah,
it.
but they're
1987,
overlooked for
different year,
and
but it just
they're
gets
not
overlooked.
overlooked because they're bad movies. They're overlooked because they're not movies that certain kinds of people are going to
Yeah,
watch. And
exactly.
unfortunately, the certain kind of people that watch these movies that also put them in places to win awards
Yeah,
are not people that want to watch any kind of movie that's outside of their realm of their scope,
mhm,
aka movies
yeah,
with black folks just don't get watched.
yeah.
Like I
And
feel like a lot of a lot of like black movies, well, quote unquote black movies, don't even get screened,
mhm,
which
yeah.
is crazy.
And folks, yes, we do get the irony of us complaining about this while we're dedicating a whole month to Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
We definitely understand that. It's just, in the moment, just the feeling that came up. And I'm always transparent about that on the podcast. But like I just also am saying that to acknowledge, yes, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to me fully evaluating this movie from a critical lens.
Hmm.
Um, just because it does feel a little bit all over the place tonally, and to know that the actors weren't all authentic Italian American, I'm like, okay, like you could have possibly given this to an Italian American actor.
I mean, Danny Aiello, he's
Well, yeah, I
Italian.
mean, he's so fucking Italian.
Yeah,
You be able to chat, remind, different times though. Absolutely,
yeah,
and I think it's good that Nicolas Cage was able to continue pushing to get in this movie because I think it is, despite my feelings about his performance, I think it is a good role for him to have. And
yeah.
it's never a bad thing to have a good role in a good movie.
Hmm.
I think about that. I think someone said that in Entourage randomly, which is like I think it's like, the season when Vince couldn't get a job and shit.
Hmm.
And at one point he's like, I can do the supporting role. And like I think the agent was like, but that's supporting. He's like, I need to just be in a good movie, right? Like at this
Yeah,
point, like I can't be picky. I need to just be in something that's going to be good and get eyeballs on it. And I always
yeah,
thought about that, like
100%.
with your career, you're like, oh yeah, like if you do get hit down, just try to be a part of something that is going to be good to help get that rebound and get some momentum going.
Yeah,
Everything,
yeah, because
but
you need people need to see you in something and they leave with a good taste in their mouth. You
mm,
don't even have to be great at it yourself, but if the whole movie is good, it automatically raises your stock.
yeah, nope. And I mean, like I said, that breakfast scene definitely helped bump the stock up a little bit to me. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I do feel like the movie's almost 2 hours, and I felt like we could have wrapped this up in an hour. Like everything that happened, like some of these scenes dragged on. And again, Nic Cage as Ronnie sometimes is very unsettling. Like when he like has distracted her so much after the opera where she ends up at his house. And she's like, I shouldn't be here. I gotta go. He's like, no, I gotta go. No, come to my room. It's like,
he's just like, you're gonna come to my bed and come now. And it's just like, oh Jesus. And she's like, okay. And she spends the night banging him out. And was like, oh my gosh.
well, he holds out his wooden hand to show his vulnerability. But I was like, that's just more reminders that this is not right. That there's so many red flags about this situation.
You know,
She about to go fuck a fucking mannequin.
but think about it, Brandon. He has that wooden hand. He got those big old wooden fingers. He
Nope.
could do some work with those.
Nope. Nope.
He could do some work with those, baby.
Uvie is correcting me. She's saying this is that ableist, and it is. I should check myself. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Listen, he could work. He got those wooden fingers for good reason.
Yeah, but I don't like the way you talk about the wooden fingers. It's
Oh,
just
exactly. Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The wooden fingers fall. You know exactly what I mean.
he takes her upstairs. It's like, you saw when that old woman was putting makeup on her titties. I want you to do that, but use my wooden hand. Did you see that
What?
when that old woman was putting makeup on her tits? The one that is the dad was having an affair with? That was a weird thing.
Yeah, she was
That
in
was,
the powder. She was in the bathroom and she was
is that what
powdering
women do?
herself.
Do they put makeup on their boobs?
I mean, I don't know. I've never put makeup on my boobs, but but I imagine some Uvia in the chat. Some women do put they powder their breasts as well, their
Okay.
cleavage rather. And it's like it's not like they take out their tit and they're powdering the whole thing. I guess it's just the cleavage.
Got it. Okay. I got it. Um, I did appreciate when Nic Cage was like trying to make up a chair outside his apartment. And she's like, but it's adultery. He's like, I don't care if you burn in hell or if I burn in hell. I was like, nigga.
Listen,
I did the cross. I was like, Lord. He's
this
like, I'm
is a
gonna
man.
fuck you so hard the devil gonna be on us.
Listen, this is a man that's ready to risk it all.
Oh yeah.
How can you not? How can you not want some of that when a man is just like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I'll give it all away for it. Like that's how much I want this shit. That's the way. Hey guys, if you're trying to sleep with a woman who's married or about to be married to a brother or some other relative of yours, you need to let her know that you're all in. Be a piece of shit. The more you know.
Yeah, he is essentially like, yeah. But the thing is, Ronnie's not trustworthy yet. There's nothing about Ronnie at this point in the story that made me think he was gonna knock her up and then be like, but tell my brother it's his. So the whole child's life I'll know. I'm your daddy. He had that kind of darkness to him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He's sinister.
he's a wild boy.
He had those crazy ass eyes and shit. Um, Now I did like, okay, here's another scene I did like between the mom and Danny Aiello's character when he comes by the house after he returns from Italy.
Mm,
And she's like, she's clearly trying to understand why her husband would step out.
yeah,
And she asks him, like, why do men chase women? And at first he gives, the Adam's rib analogy. It's like, oh, a man gave his rib to create, Eve
mm,
and, blah, blah, blah. And like, maybe like it's about Adam's trying to fill that void. He's trying to build the rib.
yeah,
I was like, that's okay. I was like, from a writer, like as a writer, I was like, that's interesting or
yeah.
whatever. I was like, okay, there's something cooking here. Like that's before
Mm,
the preface scene. I was like, okay, are we cooking a little bit? Are we getting a little thoughtful about this shit versus just
mm,
madness on my screen that just
yeah,
felt like a sloppy, weird family physical comedy. I'm like, what is happening at times? But and then it started getting a little bit sentimental and a little bit more serious, and that's when I actually started enjoying it.
yeah.
I think once it took out the forced comedy for me, I think that's when I started actually being like, oh, straightened up a little bit and like paying more attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it is the comedy does feel extremely forced. I think that's the best way to kind of explain it. It
Mm,
does feel really forced. I don't think that Nicolas Cage was in a space in his career at this point where he understood how to really deliver a comedic beats.
yeah. I still I don't know if he does still.
I mean, but he's hilarious. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but
he's trying to
sometimes
be hilarious.
unintentionally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I'm
sometimes,
saying,
yeah,
is he trying to be hilarious or is it's just natural thing? But you
yeah.
have to also, but if it's natural, you have to learn to lean into that.
That's true. That's true. Did you ever hear the story about Nic Cage with Seth Rogen? Apparently, Nic Cage was auditioning for the Green Hornet villain.
Mm,
Well, okay, so he wasn't even auditioning. So he wanted to play the villain in the Green Hornet movie.
mm,
And Seth Rogen and his writing partner Evan are like, cool. Like he's like, oh, Nick Cage wants to meet with you guys to talk about the character. And they're like, okay, sure, yeah. So they go to Nick Cage's house, and then he's essentially like, yeah, I'm thinking I want him to be like a Jamaican dude. And they're like, huh? And so Nick Cage starts talking to them in a Jamaican accent. I mean, Seth Rogen tells the story a lot funnier on like his podcast appearances he's done and stuff like that. But essentially, they're like, well, that's a different take than what we had in the character. And apparently, Nick Cage is so dejected by like their blank stares and confused expressions that he's just like he drops his head and then just says, "Oh, I just remember I gotta go somewhere." And like they're at his house, so he just disappears, and then they never hear from him again. And he decides he doesn't want to do the movie. So he takes some swings, I guess. But I think that that's what we've talked about this before with Nic Cage. I think Nick, once he taps into who he thinks the character is, he'll present it to you. And then it's up to you as a director to either make it work or be like, I can't do
like,
it.
I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't think he has any wiggle room. Like, it's like, this is what I'm presenting you. Do you fucks with it? Okay, cool. Now we can start making a stew.
He's just like, you don't get me. Oh no. Of anybody at the Seth Rogen would get me. Oh no.
Seth Rogen's stories, they like he's one of my favorite podcast guests because his stories remind me that even like no matter how famous I feel like you can get, you can still encounter some really weird shit. Like,
well, I think
you know what I mean? Like,
the more famous you get, you will encounter weird shit.
yeah, but he's one of the few celebrities, I think, because he's still a comedy dude that can get away with telling stories about how weird some fucking people are.
Yeah.
He talks about like some celebrities where he's like, this person's like fucking crazy. Like Vin Diesel, of course. Also,
this is because Seth Rogen is a guy who writes his own stuff. He produces his own stuff. So he's not really, he doesn't have to play nice, like he doesn't have to kiss as much ass as other people have to do in the industry.
That's true. It's going to really break my heart if Seth Rogen does something problematic and gets canceled. Like, it's going to break my heart. And then tomorrow, news article.
Yeah.
Oh, movie news and trailer reactions. Brandon has a broken heart. I did love the line also that the mom gave to the dad before they go to sleep. She says, no matter what you do, you're going to die just like everybody else. Because like she concludes that like men chase after women because they're afraid of death.
Yeah.
Which also implies that we're afraid of losing our legacy bloodline. So we got to fuck as many potential people to carry our seed as possible, right?
I think it's that, and then just like losing your vitality of like who you are as a man. So it's like, trying like going out there and testing yourself to see if you still got it. Because if you don't still got it, then who are you?
This is why women think that men are such bitches.
No, but a lot of, because, a lot of guys basically measure themselves over, from like how much money they make, how strong they are, or, how many, their appeal to women. So like that's all mixed up in your, vitality and things like that. So yeah, I can get exactly what it's a deeper thing than just saying that like they're afraid of death, because the death is not necessarily 100% literal. It encompasses all of those things. Because it's the death of your manhood or who you look at, who you see yourself as.
Death of your manhood, what you gonna do? Are you ready for loving or just a handhold?
Or you could have just went, are you man enough? Are you man enough to fight for niggas for me?
See, you gotta switch it up though. There's no fighting in this movie, Justin.
Okay, all right. Are you man enough?
Yeah.
Are you man enough to fuck 4 bitches?
Oh my god. Well, couldn't even do
the fuck mo bitches for me.
No, I was trying to say love. Put love in there, Justin. The log line for this movie is life, family, and love.
Okay, one more time.
Moonstruck.
Are you man enough? Are you man enough to love no bitches but me? That's good.
That's right. As good as we're gonna get, folks. We did get a Patreon thought. And remember, folks, when you sign up a Patreon at patreon.com/mediumpopcorn, you're guaranteed to have your thoughts or reviews of that film read on that episode. And we got one from Sid Tobias who wrote, one-handed Nic Cage and fine-ass 80s share. That is all. Now, mind you, I hadn't seen the movie before I read this comment on the app. And when I saw one-handed Nic Cage, I'm like, you only got one hand. And then I looked at the poster and it only shows one arm. And I was like, what the fuck? Is Nic Cage missing an arm this whole movie? What's happening?
Yeah.
That was weird. Oh, yeah. Are we cool with like him just getting married, Ronnie getting married to Cher now, and they're all just celebrating with sugar cubes and champagne and the
Wait,
ex.
sugar cubes. Those ice cubes.
No, they had sugar cubes. That shit, the way they were, the thing they used to drop it, that looked like a sugar cube thing.
I think that was ice, Brandon.
No, ice is supposed to look white like that.
I think it was ice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a sugar cube.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
Lluvia.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's something new. I never heard of that.
I don't know if that's Italian or if that's just like people that don't give a fuck about blood sugar. No matter what, niggas going. You said it's an Italian superstition thing. Ooh, learn something new every day. Hey, what happens
Hmm.
if somebody got the sugars though in the family? He's like, Grandma, that'll be the last. If you, Grandma, if you have the sugar cube with the champagne, then you can have the pasta. It's too many sugars. But
Okay, so it says
pasta's not a sugar.
so it's two reasons. It says like the superstition. It's just like they so or the devil's wine, as some people drop sugar cubes and the champagne to ward off the devil.
Yes.
Then you have the carbon dioxide release. The sugar cubes help release the carbon dioxide that's produced during the champagne making process, which contributes to a smoother, creamier beverage and the
Ooh,
sweetness.
creamy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I wouldn't think of champagne and cream, but how
Not
many
at
people?
all. Those are not the textures I equate with those things. I do not. I've never been like, ooh, the champagne sure is creamy. The fuck?
Some champagne could lead to some creaminess, but I don't know. Uh,
You're right there. You were right there, sir.
yes.
I've had, yep, yep.
Yeah, I think the interesting one is like it wards off the devil. So it's like, yeah, it's a superstition, and yeah, it's for good luck. But yes, to your point, I mean, if Danny Aiello, basically dumped her, then like, I mean, I would still be pissed that you're gonna marry my
Oh
brother,
yeah.
and obviously you've been fucking my brother,
Oh
while
yeah.
I was
Now,
away in Italy.
yeah, I mean, it's probably best for him to just like accept this because if he asks too many questions, he's gonna find out some details that he does not want to know.
Yeah,
Because the way that Nic Cage was talking, it sounded like he blew her back out like 4 ways to Sunday.
yeah.
There's no way that she's not with child. The way that Nic Cage was laser focused on her and supposedly fucking her. There's just no way, dude. Whether it's intentional, like on a malicious level, or like he just so in love with her. There's some Tubi level crazy shit happening in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just scandalous.
Yeah, I mean,
They should have a song. Oh, when you fuck your brother's girl, you get scandal.
all right, guys. So let's rate this movie. I don't know what the fuck is happening there. But all right, guys, you know how we do this. We rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into a pile of stale popcorn. We pile piles and piles of stale popcorn on top of it because it is inedible. So, Brandon, we sat down and we watched Moonstruck, a 1987 romantic comedy drama
That's what they try to tell us.
starring Cher, Nicolas Cage, Danny Aiello, Olympia Dukakis, and Vincent Gardier. What say you, sir?
Yeah, so this gets small. This gets a small. It's not the worst thing I've had to watch in a while from the old times, like from like the anything pre 2000s, but it's not great. It's definitely not great. It has two really strong scenes, mostly involving the mother,
Hmm.
which I completely understand why she was nominated. And I think those scenes possibly, again, I think if I read the script, I would kind of get an idea of why it maybe won Best Original Screenplay. Um, but yeah, it just doesn't hold up. It honestly just doesn't hold up. And tonally, I think it's all over the place. And I think when it tries to be a comedy, it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't resonate with me. And maybe that could be that I'm a cynical kid of the 2000s. That could be playing into it. Maybe there's a level of innocence in the late 80s. I doubt it because everyone keeps telling me that place was America was hell on earth at that time. But I don't know. I just didn't connect with me in the way I thought it would.
Mhm.
Given all the accolades that it won, particularly for Cher, and Best Original Screenplay. Justin, what's your rating?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a small as well. Um, it's not dog shit, but I mean, it's not stale popcorn. But like it's weird and it's edging on stale. Um, but like those scenes, especially center around the mom, is where because she adds some weight to the film, and
Yeah.
she which it definitely needed because Nicolas Cage is all over the place. Cher is all over the place, and even the dad is all over the place with
Yeah,
his
yeah,
thing. And even like the grandfather is like, there's a lot of there's too many weird scenes and not enough scenes which are building, this world out. And
for
actually,
sure.
I felt like I kind of had a bet. If Danny Aiello was in it more, I think that would have been good as well
Okay.
because like he actually the mom and Danny Aiello added like a lot of the levity to the film.
Even when Danny was crying like a crazy person at the mom's church or whatever she was
No,
holding
no,
up at.
no, 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 not those scenes when he was like in New York on
Oh
screen.
yeah, yeah. When they were talking and stuff. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
like when at the restaurant and here and there, like those scenes, like even though that he was a fumbling, bumbling idiot, during his his going into him proposing to her,
Yeah.
there was something sweet about that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because like, yeah, he's trying to ask this woman that he loves to marry him, but he's fucking it all up because he can't get out of it. Like there's something about that like we all kind of like.
okay, fair. Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. That's our review on Moonstruck. As always, you can follow me at Proto_Blackens, all social media platforms. You can follow the show at Medium P Podcast and all those same platforms. And you go to youtube.com/Medium P Podcast, push that subscribe button so you get alert about all future reviews and celebrity interviews we have on the channel. And Justin, if people want to support the show financially, what can they do, my brother?
Oh, guys. First of all, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on all socials. But if you want to support this show, you want to help it grow to the next level, guys, take yourself over to patreon.com,
Yeah.
patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. Our entire backlog is on Patreon. We got bonus episodes. We got bonus mini shows.
Bonus,
There's
bonus,
so much on
bonus.
Patreon that you need to be a part of.
What you
So if
gonna
you love
do?
this show and you want more of this show, patreon.com/medium popcorn, and be sure to sign up for the RSS feed so you can get all of those Patreon episodes right to your your device that you listen on and whatever. So like you don't have to go and search for it. It's right there waiting for you.
That's right. We're right there waiting for you. Patreon.com/medium popcorn.
Okay.
Just remind the people, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Look at the moon. It's all gonna be over soon.
And get struck right in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
then Nic Cage gonna fuck your wife.
With them fingers, them wooden fingers.
Good night.